Welcome back to Outnumbered. The Washington Post is reporting that senior Democrats are increasingly worried that Hillary Clinton and her political team are not ready for a presidential run. This following what they see as Clinton's clumsy handling of the controversy over her private emails. Robert Gibbs, who served as White House press secretary under President Obama, saying, quote, "Had this story been responded to in 2 or 3 days instead of in 8 days, it would not be as big of a deal. They are the ones who put air in this balloon in a way that was not necessary at all. It's clear they lack an apparatus. She's a candidate without a campaign." Meantime, the New York Times reports that beyond Hillary, Democrats have no plan B, seeing her as their only choice in 2016, someone who is too big to fail. A leading Democratic donor and fundraiser saying, quote, "There is no one else. She's the whole plan. She is by far the most experienced and qualified person we could possibly nominate, not even on the horizon, but on the far horizon." Andrea?
I think that she is too big to fail. I mean, she's failing right now, but politically, I think she survives this. And I hate that she will, but I don't see any other way, Kirsten. I mean, it doesn't look like the Department of Justice will bring charges. A federal prosecutor would have to do that. I think Hillary Clinton understands that very well. And I think, look, she's going to announce her campaign. She's going to raise a lot of money. I don't think there's a lot of viable options. I mean, I would defer to you on that. But unfortunately, I think the Democratic Party is stuck with Hillary, and I think she will get through this, even though she shouldn't.
Well, Harris, I mean, what do you think about that? Do you think that this hurts her at all, or isn't it something that will dog her, and whenever she has an opponent?
I think it probably doesn't hurt her within her own party. I think Andrea is absolutely right. I mean, what kind of choices do they have? I threw out John Kerry yesterday because he might be well positioned, but I don't know if he can get elected. Who knows? I do think that this becomes some pretty interesting fodder for Republicans, though, should she run. I mean, you want somebody who can take a 3 a.m. phone call, so she says, and multitask. She can't even get 2 phones with 2 different emails on them. So how is she going to run the country? I mean, I can kind of see it set up as a punchline almost, but it's an interesting question. We are deep in new technology. If she gets an Apple Watch, does that mean the government shuts down? I mean, how does that work?
She's going to run the White House from her Apple Watch at her kitchen counter.
Right.
I mean, think of how ridiculous that is. But she was running foreign policy from her kitchen.
But Kennedy,
go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, I mean, nobody really believes her explanations.
You don't believe
it?
She doesn't believe her.
Yeah, I mean, nobody really.
You're a Democrat, right?
Nobody
But all they
nobody
can do
believes
is minimize it at this point. So, it's only Colin Powell had a private email. I mean, that's the only defense they have for this, and it's like, no, wait, there's actually 15 rules she could have violated, which I know we're going to get into later in the show. I think someone like Martin O'Malley has absolutely nothing to lose by getting into the race, and I think the more candidates you have, the stronger it makes your ultimate candidate, and I think it'll be better for her and the country if someone else runs, especially if she just drops out of the race.
And real quick, too, think of who she was emailing, who was also on that server, Huma Abedin, whose husband was in the bathroom with his pants down, taking selfies the whole time. Yeah. I mean, it's like a circus.
I wonder which email he was using. Uma was on Clinton.com, though, so maybe that works as well. I don't know. It gets complicated. But everybody sitting here, really, you wouldn't have expected a scandal, a little controversy from the Clintons at this point?
A little?
I would.
Come on. I think you're exactly right. This is Clinton-esque. This is Clinton and Clintonian, and it's going to be with us for a long time. And she will write it just like her husband did.
I think voters have changed, and I think she's going to wake up to a rude awakening.
The millennials are engaged, and the libertarians are going to rise.
Well, yes, that's absolutely true, but I don't think there are as many Democrats who are as eager to defend the Clintons as you do.
You know what's interesting about that? This is really, if you guys are watching Twitter, and I'm following all of the stakeholders now, because they're tweeting each other.
Yeah.
And she's in that game, too. It's really interesting to watch it. So I wonder if that's on one of her phones now.
It's a clue to how she's going to run her White House. I mean, this is a woman that was on the Watergate committee, so she knows the dangers of a paper trail. Exactly.